This video is on clutch adjustment. Okay, hopefully you can see this fairly well. Here's the handlebars. Here's your clutch, which is on your left hand. This is facing forward. On the left side of your motorcycle, here is your clutch control, your control side. Over here is your clutch side. The way it works is this control rod moves back and forth. When you engage your clutch, you are pushing this control rod, lifting the plate off of the clutch plate off, preventing friction between those plates, releasing your clutch, or releasing pressure, drive pressure. So basically, when you're riding, you want to shift gears, engage the clutch, releases pressure, so your engine and transmission are no longer mechanically connected. And when you release that clutch again, they reconnect. The springs in this clutch plate put pressure back on these plates, re-engaging your engine with your transmission. The reason for this video is clutch adjustment. Here's your handle, here's your clutch cable, here's the left side, here's the side view. This is the clutch control linkage. This basically is a screw. And what happens is when this linkage is pulled, it actually turns and moves toward this control rod, putting pressure on the control rod, releasing pressure, disengaging your clutch, or disengaging pressure to the pressure plate. Okay, on your left side there's a cover and then the adjustable screw. That cover is just a cover. It's got two 5mm Allen wrench bolts. You take that off, you have the screw itself, which is your adjusting screw. Now, I understand normally it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but in this case, when you turn left, you're actually putting pressure on that control rod, taking out the slack. This control rod, when it makes contact, there is some slack, so that's what that adjustment screw is for. When you do your clutch, you adjust. Here's one adjustment, two adjustments, three adjustments. On these adjustments, you need to bottom them out. That means screw them together to where there's no thread showing. No thread showing. These two are fine adjustments halfway down on the left side of your bike. These two pieces should be screwed all the way together, as close as they can possibly get. Just like the top of your clutch. That's screwed all the way into your clutch to where you got the most slack. Okay? We will adjust those later. Now, when you're doing your fine adjustment, when you're doing your main adjustment, you always start here. Always start here. With this bottomed out, that means all the way to where the cable cover is the shortest, where it's screwed together and not pulled apart, all the way together. Okay, then you adjust. You take the nut apart, you take the nut, loosen the nut, then you take your screwdriver and left. First you go all the way to the right, top it out, then you go all the way to the left until you make contact, then you back off slightly. Now when you tighten this, you need to hold the screwdriver in place to tighten the screw down, because if you don't, if you turn the locking nut, that screw will turn and throw your whole adjustment out of whack. So now once we've done that, and you can see when you go and you turn it to the left, you turn the screw all the way to the left, you'll hear you'll hear the slack go out of the clutch. But then once you put pressure, you release the pressure. You want to barely make contact here, because if you screw it to the left too much, you will not fully engage your clutch. This will put pressure on this plate and it will never fully engage, and you will burn out your clutch. Does that make sense? Okay. So we've got the control rod on the left side. We've got the adjustment screw. We've got this bottomed out to where the clutch cable screwed together all the way. We've adjusted this out to where it's barely making contact or just off of the control rod. You lock this down, put the cover back on. Now, your fine adjustments. Because after you do this, your clutch cable, your clutch probably will not engage. So you start here. You loosen this a little bit, probably 1/4 of an inch. Check your lever. 1/4 of an inch more, check your lever. Once you start engaging, then you do your fine-tune adjustment up here. So once you engage your clutch, now if you need to, you can crank up the engine. Be careful though, and put it with the clutch engaged, with it on its goose stand. Put it in gear and use your rear brake to lock the rear wheel, and then let off the rear brake a little bit. Put a little bit of friction on the rear brake. Release the clutch and see where that friction point is. You don't have to take it out and road test it. All you have to do is make sure that friction point is at a safe place where you can actually use it. And you can keep adjusting it that way. That's how I did my bike. Then this fine adjustment up here, once this is about 1/4 to halfway apart, lock that, put that lock nut, engage that lock nut, and then you can use your fine adjustment here. Okay? All this is a screw. It's a power screw. Here's the side view, clutch control linkage. And this is looking from the front of the bike. The cable comes in the side, connects to this linkage that pivots. When it swings up, it's screwing the control rod away, disengaging, or actually engaging your clutch. When you disengage your clutch, you're allowing friction, these springs inside this clutch plate, to re-engage, and it brings your friction back. Alright, are there any questions?